So now we are going to continue with the slight detour that we started, which is printing strings embedded with values in Python. So we have I have a module here, and I'll go through that, and then we'll look at a couple of examples of lambda function with map and filter. Okay, so printing strings embedded with values. So, and you will find there are three methods when you Google this topic, and you'll find three different methods. Of these three, you need to understand what these three are, so you will be able to make your decision as to which to use appropriately. Okay, so there is what is called the percentage formatting. Right, so this is old school. This is like the flip phone. Even your grandma is not going to use this. Okay, so if you see percentage sign and then a variable name, that kind of formatting, just don't even bother with it. Okay, and then there is string format. This is what we saw previously. So here, what you will have is a string embedded with these braces, and then end with dot format with a list of variables. This is what we looked at last time, and we'll continue to use this, but the most recent method is it takes this concept in string format, okay, and then makes it a little bit easier and more versatile and efficient. So that is called fstring. So Python fstring. Okay. So the concepts that we are going to learn in string formatting, they apply to fstring as well. The same thing, except that it is easier, more efficient. Okay. So we'll do both, but what I would recommend is that you stick with fstring. Fstring is the easiest, more efficient, and more flexible, more versatile, and so on. Okay, so let's look at some examples, and for those examples, I'm going to just set up some variables. Okay, so A is equal to a text string, B is a floating point number, C is another floating point number, and D is an integer value, E is a negative value, and F is another integer value. Okay, so let's set this up, and we will use these values embedded in a string and then print it out using the formatting commands. Okay. So the simplest form is to just print, okay, and give variable names inside the braces. Okay, so you have to put that as a string. So within the string, the braces indicate where embedded values will go. Okay, and then after you have set the string up, then you say format and then specify the variables that will be used. Okay. You don't have to give variable names x1, x2 and so on, in which case you just be the positional value, the first one with the first one, second one with the second one, and so on. But that's not a good idea, so we will use variable names. So we say x1 is A and x2 is B. Okay. Now I put a comma here, so that's why I have a comma. Let me take the comma out. Okay. So this is the simplest form, where you set up a string and put places to embed values, and then you give what values to embed. And of course you can have this within a iterating loop, a for loop or a while loop, and then you will have a bunch of rows of values that you can print. All right. Now we want to actually format this and how it's going to print, and that is what is called format specification. Okay, this format specification okay. Okay, so you're going to have, so the format specification goes inside the braces. Okay. So when you have a string and when you have braces in which you enter the variable name, that's where you will specify the formatting sequences, whatever format you want to use. So it's going to go inside the braces, and inside the brace there are three things that you can specify. Okay, the first one is name. Okay, so that's the name of the variable, right? The variable value that's going to go in there. Like in the example, we had x1. x1 is the name. Okay? And then we have what is called conversion. Okay, so and we're going to skip that. That's optional. So conversion, we are not going to. It's very. We're not in the ordinary scheme of things. We're not going to be using conversion. So we will just skip that part, and that's optional anyway. And then you have to have a colon. Well, you don't have to have, it's optional, because we didn't have colon here. But if you want to specify a format specification, then you must have a colon, and then after the colon you specify whatever format you want. Okay? And that format that you're going to specify has a positional meaning. So you cannot mix those format specifications. Some of the most commonly used format specifications are the width of what you want to print, okay, and you want how many decimal places you want. You want alignment. You want it centered or left aligned or right aligned. So these are the kinds of things that you will specify. So the first thing you have to specify is align. Okay, the alignment. Okay, and there are the usual left align, center, and so align. So you have that, and that. So the left side less than sign is left align, and right align, and then the shift 6, which is the caret mark, that means center. Okay. And then the next item is width. Width is a number indicating the width to be used. Okay. All right. Now let's look at these two in an example. Okay. So let's take the same print from here. Okay. Now we're going to specify these two things: left, right, center alignment. So here, if you leave the alignment out, then default alignment will be used. For string values, default alignment is left. For numerical values, the default alignment is to the right. So again, all of these are optional. If you leave it out, the default will be used. So let's say that we want this to be right aligned and width of 15. And this being a numerical value, say let's say we want to make it left aligned and 10. Okay, so here, why did I get an error here? Okay, that's because I have to, the name and the conversion, and then I have to have a colon. Only after the colon I have to specify the format spec. So I forgot to put the colon. That is the reason for the error. So after the name, you must have a colon and then only specify the format. So there it is. Now to see the width on the alignment more clearly, let me put some vertical marks here so we can see that. This is just for us to see how the values are aligned. Okay. This has no other meaning, just for us to understand how the alignment is taking place. Okay. Now you see, right aligned, the first item x1 is right aligned because of the greater than sign, and the width is 15. And then the value 12.2 is left aligned, and you see the width is a little bit smaller here. So width is only 10.